thick skin, as I'm sure would give in, fall apart.
I'm Stefan Rapazzo, and I was told that Windmill is at a stage where it's impossible to win as a pickup team. Well, I beg to differ. In fact, I insist to differ. This year, 8 national teams, many vying for medals at the upcoming World Championships. This Windmill, the elite preparation tournament for the mixed division. Some elite American club teams and elite European club teams. And all that said, I know that my team is going to rip the limbs from each and every one of these teams. Make them wish they never stepped on the same pitch as us. SuperTeam is going to dominate. That's why we have our own stream, the SuperStream, that you can watch every single one of our games on Ulti TV. You want more info? Get on our Instagram page, TOKAY SuperTeam. Follow along and your collective jaws will drop while you agree with me and say, yeah, this team cannot be stopped. TOKAY SuperTeam.
Wait. Isn't this for the other apparel? We've got like new stuff, right? Bring it in. Feast your eyes on the new fan version of our iconic Ulti TV sweatshirts. Great fan gear available for you. Check out our new range of colors and insist on staying warm and looking fresh. Shipping is available after EUCF. Get your fan gear and be one of us.
Those who do not know their history can never relive it. The skies, the dives, the sideline smiles. Our past is held in photo albums, drinking stories. The present is a gift. And here at Ulti TV, we want to make sure we always appreciate it, capturing the immortal moments of Ultimate from around the world and making sure everyone can enjoy them for free, forever. Because the future belongs to all of us.
We are a group of Ultimate players, coaches and video enthusiasts. We've worked with the major federations and the greatest events.
We're on a mission to make Ultimate huge. We want our videos and live streams to be free to watch.
We want to make stories that not only reach you,
but also reach people outside the Ultimate community.
Like and subscribe, Ulti TV, the best in the world.
Become a member and fund our work
to cover more events in the future and to bring more stories and live coverage to the eyes of the Ultimate world and beyond.
Oh my goodness, that is unbelievable. And created the net and made fun. That was absolutely incredible.
Always on the move? You can keep up to date with Ulti TV on all of our social media channels. Like, follow, subscribe, share us with a friend, or send us a message just to say hey. Thank you for supporting us in our mission to grow Ultimate everywhere.
I'm Steph Pazzo, and I must eat. Sometimes commentator, sometimes food eater. On my Ultimate travels in 2023, I sampled culinary classics from all across Europe.
Oh, wow.
Guided by some of your favorite Ultimate players.
That's the Dutch hospitality for you right there.
I'll give you an insight into the secret spots that only the locals know of.
Are these the best schnitzels in Vienna?
Yes, of course.
Yes, of course. Go find Steph Pazzo on YouTube. Like and subscribe and follow the European Ultimate Must Eat series.
Yeah, look, all of my friends going crazy. I gotta brag on myself.
I'm Stefan Rapazzo, and I was told that Windmill is at a stage where it's impossible to win as a pickup team. Well, I beg to differ. In fact, I insist to differ. This year, 8 national teams, many vying for medals at the upcoming World Championships. This Windmill, the elite preparation tournament for the mixed division. Some elite American club teams and elite European club teams. And all that said, I know that my team is going to rip the limbs from each and every one of these teams. Make them wish they never stepped on the same pitch as us. SuperTeam is going to dominate. That's why we have our own stream, the SuperStream, that you can watch every single one of our games on Ulti TV. You want more info? Get on our Instagram page, TOKAY SuperTeam. Follow along and your collective jaws will drop while you agree with me and say, yeah, this team cannot be stopped. TOKAY SuperTeam.
Wait. Isn't this for the other apparel? We've got like new stuff, right? Bring it, bring it in. Feast your eyes on the new fan version of our iconic Ulti TV sweatshirts. Great fan gear available for you. Check out our new range of colors and insist on staying warm and looking fresh. Shipping is available after EUCF. Get your fan gear and be one of us.
TOKAY SuperTeam. You'd think they can't be serious with a roster like that. There's no way they can pull it off. It can't happen. Well, it's happening and right in front of your very eyes, ladies and gentlemen. Here at Windmill 2024, live and free on Ulti TV. I'm Stefan Rapazzo here with Francis Dieterle to take in another of the TOKAY Super Streamed matches. This time taking on hot contenders, the Italians. Francis, what do you like about this one?
I like that SuperTeam, cast as the heroes, are going up against Davide Mori's Italian team, silver medalists. Davide Mori, of course, the response to who knows what evil lurks in the hearts of men. The man himself has cast himself as a villain on multiple occasions, so he is the perfect contender to be looking at the super team straight in the face, and he has complete faith that they are unbeatable.
Davide is a character always. We'll have our eye on him. He's been brash and bold enough to engage in pre-game banter and chat, and we've had some handshakes with some results-based remuneration upon them prior to this game, so a little extra even between Davide and I in this one, but there he is right now. Davide Mori, congratulations to him, a new father as well. In his first 3 or 4 months of, no, even longer of fatherhood. Anyhow, Davide, but this is what we're after here. The super team imports from 15 different countries, of course sponsored by TOKAY, VC, and Greatest Bags. This team put together by yours truly. I put a lot of legwork into this one, and so far I'm feeling like it is all very much worth its while. And the sponsors too. Last game against Australia, Francis, the TOKAY super team 15-5 and dispatched quickly.
Well, I think we know a couple of the reasons for that. Number one, Australia, an Australian team playing in white is clearly a sin against nature, and so they should have been playing in yellow.
Or green, that's it. Or sometimes even blue. Joe White with a disc. He moves across to Toby Ducran. Ducran spots White in the middle. All male handling set as the unders are engaged by Lev Kavalchak, the German. Looks at the up line, then goes inside to Ducran. He finds Joe White. White shimmies to Jimmy. Mr. Shimmy himself on the receiving end this time. Then back to White, Ducran, sideline to sideline. Italian defense is tight. Slusta comes for the under. Straight back to Ducran, and she busts up line. Waiting for a cut. Jimmy Mickle makes the inside move. Boom! Quick dish. Lev Kavalchak, but not in yet. She's got Jimmy in the dump space, takes and gives another option. Jimmy stays upfield and then finds Volchak. Toby Ducran with the disc. Ducran looks back, goes wide around. Anushka Beaudry there for the goal. Great first possession by the TOKAY super team.
Good point from TOKAY. I do think that there were some moments where Italy can be proud of themselves. They really slowed the momentum a bit, especially using that wide mark, stops that give and go motion. Joe White finding some edge though. Although I do think Italy is going to have to be a little bit smarter than this. They're going to have to, going up one-on-one is not the way to beat this TOKAY super team. We've seen that each individual matchup, there's going to be some small advantage for super team most of the time.
I tend to agree with you. Valeria Cardenas taking the match off. She came in today. She's got a little bit jet lag and just making sure she's in fine form for tomorrow, of course. But she did have a taste of the action in the last round and was looking very, very sharp. But you won't see her out this round.
Puts a little bit more of the burden on some of those other throwers. Jimmy Mickle and Lev Kavalchak probably going to do a lot of heavy lifting behind the disc this match.
So, pull, set, Pingu, the Italian, playing against his Italians. He was definitely looking forward to this matchup. As that one goes out of bounds. And is brought in by Arturo Laffi.
So Italy this year, I believe, has gone all in on mixed for the World Championships. Is that correct? They've tried to overload their mixed team?
Yeah, absolutely. This is a heaping with talent, a team that has so much of Italy's finest on it. They are great. This one coming under Bangui, a big chuckers. He puts that one deep. Lander de Cran gobbles it up and takes it away. He finds Castillo in space, and Castillo looks around 2 or 3 times, then takes Zhu as she continues the cut. Zhu goes to Pingu, Tognetti that is. Then Zhu but off the hand, and it's back to the Italians. Around to Barzazzi. Barzazzi looks to the end zone, then goes across. Bengi is there, and too much on it for Bengi.
Slightly rushed from Barzazzi. You'll normally see the big man make every perfect decision. I think that this is going to be one of the challenges for the Italian team in general, is that this is their first tournament together, so they'll be looking to find some chemistry between each other.
Second tournament, they did get to play at Freiburg about 3 weeks ago, and had their first hit out there as Bengi looks in and finds Lagala right inside. Italians hold 1-1, offered the Super Team a chance, but did manage to close the deal there. So, TOKAY Super Team, top of the rankings, came in as the number 2 seed, but have shot up to the top ever since, well, their last round domination against the Australians with a big lead. Toby Gauthier likes the Toby Toanouche, the Québec connexion. Ah, mais oui. With Toby Decran over UFA playing now for le Montréal Royal.
We'll see what Italy has figured out on defense at this point. See what they can do to slow down the Super Team offense.
Venturoli with the pull. Tullett goes to the back of the end zone and collects. Beaudry. Zone by Italy. First zone look. Slusta with the disc. She goes across and Schall just gets it with a bit in front. Now Slusta and Decran are on the move. Decran again. And foul on the play before he released, so no threat of the turnover. Toby Decran had Joe White looking to go deep, but he goes inside, gets Beaudry. Now White. White puts to Schall, right back to White. Shows the flipper, then goes to Schall and gets it to Joe in the guts. Nice bit of work there. Tight defense. I like the defensive change by the Italians.
I agree. I think that's something to keep for the next point. Zones, I think a lot of time when we run them, we tend to think that if we're scored on, then that's a failure of the system. And that's something that we should just put back in our pocket. The zone didn't work that last point. But when you play match defenses, it's very rare that you're going to say, oh, well, we shouldn't play match defense because it didn't work the previous time. Really what you're going to do with most defenses is you should just adjust them, try and figure out what didn't work, maybe tweak it here or there. With match defenses, if you get beat deep, you'll tend to start backing them. If you get beat under, you're going to start fronting them. Zone defenses are pretty similar. I think that what they just need to do is slow down the crashes down one sideline, and maybe they'll be able to push the disc around the field a little bit better next point.
Like the sound of that. See how they're able to push it around if they can get their defense back on the field. For now, they'll have to hold against this ready-to-pull Super Team D-line. Castillo with the pull. Fantini to Girotto. Girotto does get it around behind the back to Fantini. Now inside, Scazzieri, quick across Girotto. Fakes the scoop over top. Now the mark gets closer, goes back to Bengi, into Girotto again.
Looks like some middle coming out from Super Team.
Girotto goes to Fantini, back to Girotto. Inside to Scazzieri. Girotto's on the move, change of direction. Girotto on the doorstep and does float one up to the back, has the option sought, and the Italians find a way to score again. 2-2, early days.
Good patience from Italy. I don't think that there's too much to dissect on that point other than the forced middle being effective when you move it from one side back to the other. So good motion from the Italians, good patience. We'll see what adjustments they make if Davide has decided to run out the zone again. I think it's a great call.
Yeah, I think we'll see it again.
So Steph, you've been spending all day with this team. What's your favorite memory so far from any game? Any play, any joke?
I mean, the Lander de Cran layer D in the last game was pretty awesome. There's been some hand blocks. There's been a Callahan. There's been a whole lot of action. It's tough to, like, Landers came to mind first right away when you just asked, so I'll say that, but there's been a lot of exciting play. It's been some of the prettiest Ultimate I've ever seen in my life. And that's exciting.
That is pretty exciting.
A lot of seamless offensive movement.
Despite the best efforts of Liam Grant getting his D of a lifetime on Jimmy Mickle.
Ah, yes, he did indeed.
Or something like a D.
Something like a D. Jimmy didn't catch it. And here's the pull, Casarini. And Molnar collects the pull, goes straight to Mickle. Mickle goes to Eklund, nice throw. She leads to Volchak. Volchak has a look back to Eklund. Eklund to Volchak behind the disc, now over to Toby DeCran. DeCran, Volchak. Volchak goes around to Schal. Schal back to DeCran. DeCran goes for it. Beaudry right there. And that Quebecois connection they've formed recently at the Canadian 4-on-4 championships as they won that national title together is carrying over here to Windmill.
Good looks, especially those over-the-top throws. Those looping blades going around the zone. So the Italians stopping the movement in the cup. Now it seems like the movement outside of it and over it is what's causing the problem. It's difficult running a zone with very little wind, especially with such talented throwers. It's going to be difficult to contain those looks.
Will be indeed. To stay committed to zone, to come and go with zone's a great idea when your zone's that good, but to stay with it, you're right, without the 8th defender being the elements, it makes it tricky to stick tight with, especially at the upper echelon, and here we are at the upper echelon of the rankings in the mixed division right now.
Now SuperTeam, we'll see what they have on defense.
Coach Ine Langkriet's drawn up. She's been working hard, doing a bang-up job. Fantini backpedals. Girotto. Bengi. Fantini around Girotto. Bengi well covered by Vestman. And Bengi goes inside to Fantini.
We're back into this forced middle dominator or something close to it from the Italians.
Fantini goes up, sideline, has a look at the end zone, goes back to the middle. Laffi, quick lead to Girotto. Girotto finds Barzazzi, and the Italians score again. They continue to hold 3-3. Very strong offense by Team Italia.
Solid offense, I would say. That is, I don't think there was ever a moment where they looked flustered. They put the disc into very comfortable positions for them where they were able to get big gains fast and early.
And we've got a timeout on the field. We're going to take a short break, and we'll be right back after these messages.
Always on the move? You can keep up to date with Ulti TV on all of our social media channels. Like, follow, subscribe, share us with a friend, or send us a message just to say hey. Thank you for supporting us in our mission to grow Ultimate everywhere.
I'm Steph Pazzo, and I must eat.
Sometimes commentator, sometimes food eater.
On my ultimate travels in 2023, I sampled culinary classics from all across Europe.
Oh, wow.
Guided by some of your favorite ultimate players.
That's the Dutch hospitality for you right there.
I'll give you an insight into the secret spots that only the locals know of.
Are these the best schnitzels in Vienna?
Yes, of course.
Yes, of course.
Go find Steph Pazzo on YouTube. Like and subscribe and follow the European Ultimate Must Eat series.
Oh my goodness. That is unbelievable. And great intercept and made for it.
That was absolutely incredible.
And we are back in tie game, 3 apiece. Cracker of a match here from Amsterdam. And Venturoli stands with his hand hung high, ready to pull, and sends one down to his very strong opposition. Mikkel collects from Tulit. Valchak goes to Slusta. Quick to Mikkel.
It's a rule when Tusta gets the disc in her hands that she's not allowed to hold it for more than 3 seconds.
Mikkel goes to Tulit. Tulit quick to De Craan. Quick again, Jimmy Mikkel. He puts a big obstacle for Gasparini to have to climb around the boulder. Chep back in, Mikkel. Cupcake gives a jab step and gets room. Now to Schal. Schal, Valchak, and De Craan goes full Bruce Springsteen, double knee slide, picks up that goal. Another nice one by the super team.
The boss is back in Europe, ladies and gentlemen.
I would buy tickets for that and for that.
Toby De Craan playing with Bruce Springsteen.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Just like catching layouts on stage behind. Can we set this up? Is it impossible? I'll do it. No, I'm just kidding. That one we're not happening. So we are on serve. Cracking game here. The super team are in the driver's seat because they won the flip. They started on O. But the Italians have done nothing but respond. And after a turn on the first possession, I believe that's all.
I think you're correct.
Tidy stuff.
So far, they are weathering the storm that Super Team is throwing at them. Not a ton of defensive pressure, though, from either side. I think that both offenses are capable enough that they are really just working around it. So far, neither team has really been made to make a difficult decision. We'll see what the coaches decide, how they're going to sort of flex and change the shape of what defenses look like over this game.
Castillo with the pull. Slide to pick up, and then Girotto. Girotto to Barzazzi. Tam on that matchup. Lagalla. Upfield, finds Barzazzi. He had some steps. Barzazzi looks to the left, now the right, goes around. Fantini, he takes it. Barzazzi was off and running, but the throw didn't go. Now goes into the dump space, Bengi there. Bengi wide and high and around. Lagalla bobbles, and a chance for the super team to break. Rogers picks up the disc, looks to put it right away, then goes infield to Tognetti, back to Rogers. Rogers inside to Castillo. Castillo winds up inside first, then out. It's hanging. Zoo versus Bengi. Zoo has it bounce off the hands, and it's going to go back to the Italians.
Bengi with a good read. She had the size matchup in that. Interesting layout from the Italians in their first point, though, running a German. It looked like they had 4 handlers behind the disc, looking to get sort of that one player, the isolation, sometimes called the worm, to shoot it deep. Good recognition from Super Team, some poaching in the lane, which caused some swings back and forth.
Fantini on the pickup.
a different shape for their offense now, just more classic horizontal.
Fantini leads, gets Girotto. Girotto, the ambidextrous thrower. Then Lagala, the deep shot hanging up against Vestman. And Vestman does just enough there. The bigger body steals some position with her height advantage.
Gala with 2 errors on the point.
Zhu to Tognetti. Tognetti hangs one up. Castillo on the chase. 2 coming. Castillo gets up. She's not in yet. Here come the troops. Rogers, first one there. He looks to the other side, and boom, right on his hip. Angela Zhu there to collect the game's first break. And the TOKAY SuperTeam go up 5-3.
First break from SuperTeam off of a deep puck. Looked like they tried to open the gates to their deep game, well, twice in that point. Second one turned out to be a better read. Better shot, I would say, as well. Tognetti obviously very good with that big backhand. You see it a lot on his spin pulls, those high arcing blades that he's able to put to the end zones. Uses that force and that rotation to put a backhand around his teammate.
Yeah, Tognetti has those moon shots and shows one there. This time against the nation he's represented so well so many times. And he's very proud to be the Italian representative on this TOKAY SuperTeam. Of course, Chopo Santucci had a spot and couldn't fulfill his duties. And for that, the contest went up. And in the end, it ended up being Jimmy Mickle being the Chopo replacement.
Kind of an unknown pick, though.
Yeah, nobody knows that name, Jimmy Mickle. It was a shock to everybody. Why would we take that guy that nobody barely has ever heard of?
Well, you know, you got to use these opportunities to develop players sometimes as well.
Yes. And anyways, yes, one of the biggest names in the sport as the last spot on, just bolstered an already strong team that simply has a 1 break advantage over the Italians right now, as Anushka Beaudry has some thoughts about what her poll's going to look like. She's thinking grand things, I think. She must be. Beaudry on the wind-up, inside-out delivery. And it'll be Fantini to collect. Laffy. He goes to Bengi. Bengi inside Barsazi. Laffy. He fakes the backhand in a low squat. Lagala. Back to Laffy. Laffy to Fantini. Fantini up to Lagala. She's looking at the end zone already. On the sideline, up the spot, and Scazzetti wins the race into the corner, and another goal for the Italians, 5-4 now.
Good response from the Italians. You can tell that they're well drilled. They make a lot of space for each other. One thing I'd like to point out is that Arturo Laffy, for the first time that I've ever seen him, is playing without his signature red hat. Must have gotten lost in the wash and finally given out, because that thing was probably threadbare.
He's had multiple iterations of the red hat. But it tends to always be the red hat. You're right, he's gone to the sporty visor now. And it's a new look.
Scazzetti just burning to the front cone. We see some teams from the open women's division trickling through. Some volunteers watching on this game. Open women's have finished for today. This is the last round of our first day of Windmill.
First day almost in the books. But a lot of work to be done here. 24 minutes into this one. 5-4 lead, TOKAY SuperTeam. And Mastroianni set to pull. Molnar back to receive the pull. He goes to Chulet. Chulet to Molnar, and he gets Joe White. White to Eklund. Eklund sights Molnar. He had his hands up as he was poached. Molnar had a deep cut. DeCran comes under, and that is hit right at the midfield mark.
So the Italians are back in match. One thing that I'm noticing is that Gasperini is playing great defense on Joe White. He's really anticipating who has the disc and where to position himself to deny him.
And DeCran sends the deep shot, and it gets tipped. Casarini picks up, and now Gasperini. Gasperini's bombed it deep. It's hanging up. It's going to work. And the Italians have broken back. Make it 5 apiece. They are here to play.
Commentator's blessing. Gasperini putting it on his back that point. I'm going to call that a bookends.
Simone Gasperini unleashing on that flick ball.
Just a well-weighted shot to his receiver. And a great attack in transition.
It's Cantu on the chase and the goal score.
So it looks like Italy found a bit of a chink in the armor of SuperTeam.
I believe that's the first time TOKAY SuperTeam have been broken in their history.
In their history? Their long and storied history.
Okay, in their history. Their short and brief history.
We'll see what Italy can do this time, if they can repeat this. Again, though, I do want to highlight Gasperini's defense on Joe White. That initiating cut is something that's so important for a lot of teams to create movement. And Joe White is a good churner. Steph, I think you might know him a little bit, this young man.
Yeah, he's a wonderful specimen of an ultimate player, wonderful human, exciting young lad as this one goes out. But yeah, I had the pleasure to coach Joe when he was over at Is No Good. About 2 years ago before that WUCC campaign. And a big part of how he ended up on this team too, those connections.
Obviously the skills that he developed at Is No Good, you taught him everything he knows basically.
I would never make such a bold claim, and I've made a lot of bold claims. White and Schal exchange. Valchak in the middle, then back to Schal, Valchak, Schal, Shalchak. Now over Joe White, catches up. Schal comes under. Molnar does a great job just waiting, setting everything up in the middle before he makes cuts. And he goes over the top. Molnar, the intended receiver, and a smacked away disc. Gasperini doing a bit of everything. Ill-advised throw by White.
Gasperini, 2 for 2 on his defensive attempts. Good vision to jump off of his matchup with Mikkel in the back. And also, the Italians are mixing up their matchup on Joe White. They've decided that Venturoli was somebody who they wanted.
The under. In the middle. Gasperini. Gasperini to Rossi. That's a great matchup. Rossi de Cran. Cantu. Rossi. Deep shot goes. Gasperini won't get there. And SuperTeam will get it back. Baudry happy to pick up. Over the top, DeCran. Molnar comes under. A little bit of slippage. DeCran gets it inside Baudry, far sideline. Baudry winds up, she's gone for it. It was for Molnar, he couldn't quite sight it. And the throw a little bit off and too far in front.
DeCran comes streaking in. As Gasperini calls a timeout.
Timeout, long point, double turnover. Second chance to break for the Italians for the second point of a row it would be. We're going to take a short break with it, and we'll be back with more after these words. we are back. Italians just taking a timeout after a long point with a couple turnovers. Would be a chance to take a lead in this game. They've trailed from the start thus far.
So far, we've seen some very solid play and some good defense from the Italians, especially keying in on those male matching players. Noticing that they, especially Joe White and Jimmy Mickle, are taking heavy lifting duties. So Gasperini, Venturoli, Rossi, all of them have been stepping up into their roles. As Davide Mori decides that he's going to be on the field as well, Joe White shoos him off.
Interesting by Mr. Mori. Gasperini goes to Rossi. Rossi goes around, and Gasperini thought that he had to get there. He didn't. It was covered for. Underneath comes. Ooh, over top, and there's an error. Volchak to Dekran. Now to White. White spins around, finds Dekran again. Looking for a little bit of order here. And Joe White goes the hammer. And that'll bring order one way or the other. But goes over top everything, didn't see what he loved. And they get a grueling hold to make it 6-5.
Burn and turn puts the Italians back on the offensive line. You can see these give and goes coming between Dekrana and White until Joe White decides he's had enough. He's going to hammer it over to the top to Volchak. I think that Volchak is really at her best when she has excellent throwers to put her into space, to use her athleticism.
Yeah, I mean, everyone's at their best with excellent throwers for sure. But yes, I know exactly what you mean. In her case, because her athleticism is so explosive, if you can kind of just keep her momentum going with your throws being able to, you know, always be caught in the direction of your momentum, then she's gonna make those throws string together even quicker.
Italian D-line looked a little deflated after that. All of that work for naught.
Yeah, this could be where they fall apart. Oh wait, did I just show bias in my commentary? Not in a game like this where I'm the general manager of the team that's playing.
Oh, I thought it meant Grandmaster.
Yeah. Anyhow, no bias. There's the pull. Italians. Bangui collects. Now Laffy. Barsazzi's gone to the races. Tam does pick him up. Laffy. And he goes to Girotto. Barsazzi. And Girotto again. Girotto zips one to Bangui. Bangui crossfield. Tam has a sniff, but Barsazzi hangs on. Barsazzi wants the break. He does go break side and does find the seam for it. From the corner back to Girotto. Girotto, no, does not step into it. I thought he might. Back Girotto and Laffy, give and go. Switch on the defense. Girotto goes back to Bangui. Bangui, Laffy. Laffy around too much, but Scazzieri's there to back it up. Scazzieri winding up her business, nothing there, high stall count. Now Tam comes running through. Barsazzi's wide open and the goal comes one throw later.
That might have been the hardest offensive point that we've seen so far for the Italians. Obviously there was the one where they got broken, but I think that one, the super team actually made them work a lot harder for the point.
Yeah, but that said, they worked really, really hard. I thought the super team defense had stepped up there. They were playing well, they were switching well, but the Italians hung tight, kept their cool, through completions, that one for the score.
Of course, there are holds and there are holds. That one is a difficult hold for the Italians. One of those moments where you can feel the defensive pressure, you can feel them on the back of your neck when they're right there on your shoulder, trying to get it every D. Luckily though, David Barzassi, I don't think I've ever seen him look nervous with the disc. He looks like he is just a fish in water. Every time he gets the disc, he just looks comfortable and cool, whether it's stall 1 or 9.5.
Yeah, he's a pretty happy young lad out there. Big smile on his face, goofy kind of grin, but loving life, and plays good ultimate when he's in that kind of a mindset.
Italy going with a roller pole. This might be the strategy that they want.
Knocked down by Beaudry, and Mikkel gets it in the middle of the field. Mikkel goes back to Beaudry. Beaudry to Mikkel. Mikkel winding up all sorts, but not delivering. Now Slusta. Inside, behind to Eklund, and she goes back to Slusta. Slusta inside, Chulit. Chulit has a look around, Beaudry in the backfield. They go 1-2 through the hands. Chulit flips one over top, the high release forehand, and then Mikkel spots Eklund and drops a dime. Another hold by the TOKAY Super Team, 7-6. They stay in front.
What do you get when you have 2 nickels?
That's a dime, baby. As good as a dime.
Interesting variation from the Italians. They decided to put Riccardo Merussi on the mark. See that he's less agile, but he uses his length a lot, especially to try and overwhelm those smaller throwers. In that case, they were caught in transition, and of course, a thrower like Jimmy Mikkel, he makes decisions very quickly with the disc. As soon as he gets a moment to scan the field, he doesn't have to wait even a second to throw it. He's got a very quick trigger.
So Merussi, as you mentioned, an ex-high Serie B, maybe, I don't know, but goalie, football goalkeeper. Davide calls him the Italian Stallion. It's their answer to Skies. Sometimes the Italians, as good as their all-around game is, don't have the tallest all-around stature from top to bottom of the roster. So bringing in Merussi certainly brings up their average height, but not much more.
Of course, that other big man, Tognetti, on the other side of this team.
Playing against his compatriots, Laffy goes to Bengi. Bengi looks inside, and Tognetti steps in front of Laffy. Now Zhu to Becker. Becker looks up, Tognetti, kick spike from Pingu, and that's a break, 8-6, TOKAY Super Team.
Too easy. Miscommunication from Bengi and Laffy. Obviously, Tognetti knows Laffy, I would say a little, you know. It's almost like they've played their entire lives together.
That's exactly it. Here's another look. Pingu got the D, initiated the counterattack, and then Becker Chagnot hits Pingu before he gives a little punt spike. That is the half. We're going to take a short break and be back with second half action. Don't you go anywhere. And there is the Super Team giving their cheer after the half.
Take away the flag. Take away the flag. That's for him. Yeah, Toby. Toby's there. Hey, O-line, let's give them better help. They need better help from.
There's a sneak peek at some of the action on field there. Levka Volchak mic'd up for this match. A 2-point lead, 8-6. Super Team will start on defense.
So we heard Davide giving a little shout to his team. A lot of teams, especially Italian teams, love to get that energy through somebody screaming at them, and that is Davide's job on most of the teams that he's been on.
Let's go, Super Team. We want more.
Mega moment for a mega team.
Mega everything. But the line has to know. Now we've got some confusion. Which side did we start on? Mirror half. High fives as they cross. Low fives. High fives are usually internal. Low fives external. Not as a rule, just generally speaking. When you would be crossing on a Frisbee field. What are you, a high fiver or a low fiver? Let us know in the chats. Welcome to everybody in the chats. Where are you watching from? There's a lot of you out there. Have you all hit the like button? Go do that. Hit the like button. Do it now. And you'll thank yourself for it. Then hit the subscribe button. You'll be like, man, I am really awesome today. I'm doing all sorts of great things for everything.
Tune in and turn on to Ulti TV. We are filming Super Team all weekend here at Windmill.
Lander de Kran sends the pull. Laffy will collect, and he's got Girotto right away. Girotto goes across with the offhand, but he's ambidextrous throw, so they're kind of both the offhand. Barsazzi comes under. Barsazzi goes inside. It's high. It's too high. And that one's out the other sideline.
We've seen Barsazzi throw that step through IO forehand. That is a very difficult throw to execute, especially when you try to release it as high as he does. That one just catches maybe a whiff of the breeze.
Tognetti wound up, but then he put that one away. Thought wiser of it. Gets Vestman coming under. Vestman gets a stutter step upfield and then isolation with Tognetti. Tognetti sees Lander crossing. He goes all the way the other side, and Castillo catches it in a little pack and then zips one right through. How did Maria Castillo manage that?
Wow, wow, wow. And miracle catch almost. I really would not have bet on Castillo in that situation. Girotto, I believe, was closing the gap. It looked like he was going to get it. Castillo read it better, though.
Here it is again. Tognetti takes the long way home. Castillo, one in front, one behind, just holds her ground, stays up, and boom. Like, Tam was there with somebody on him. He was still kind of open and right in front of her, but covered up. But for her to see Vestman and to shoot it right on the inside of Tam, just great vision after the catch by Castillo.
Great quick decision making from the Mexican naturalized Belgian. Super Team finding a groove. This is not the way that Italy wanted to start this half, of course. See what Davide finds as a response. See what the coaches decide is going to work out. Looks like a standard O-line from the Italians. There's nobody that they're pulling over.
Baudry set to pull.
Well, I think that Rossi has been playing a little more defense, so he might be the one person they're stacking.
I think I agree with that. That sounds about right. Looks about right. Fantini lets it fall in front. Becker Chagnot is there. And Bengui goes inside, gets Girotto, he's put it right away. Bengui or Lagala on the chase. What a pickup by Carmen Lagala.
What a crowd from Carmen Lagala.
She just put the body on the line there, dove into the grass as though it was a backyard swimming pool. Beautiful splash made by Carmen Lagala. Bring Italy back within 2.79 there.
That's exactly the sort of play that can bring a team back into it, especially a team that loves to ride their energy like Italy.
Here it is again. Fantini to Benghi. Girotto, and there's the leading throw. Looking for Lagala. Beautiful.
So we'll see what we are going to find on this line. It looks like Venturoli is going back out. Gasperini. And pretty standard D-line, actually.
Giovanni Flamini out there for the other male matching player. Casarini, Bonu, Giovannini. And super team go. Joe White, Lev Gavalchak. White. Volchak. Volchak puts it. Philip Molnar in the back of the end zone. There's company, and company takes care of business. Gasperini knocks it away. Nice help D by the Italians.
I think that that's really what's been working out for the Italians, is forcing the super team to work in spaces where there's an extra player who can come in and help out. Great closing speed from Gasperini.
This gives it big travel. I'm glad he called that. Travel again, he called it again. And that one gets thrown. Gasperini. Looks and Venturoli's come under. Gasperini sends deep. This could work. Molnar needs a bit, but not on it. That one is caught. And now looking for goal. Pops one to Venturoli, right back to Tremonte. And is there a call?
Good receiving from Flamini. Keeping Molnar on his back, using his size to box out.
Flamini. Venturoli. Goes backhand too far in front for Gasperini. Joe White off to the races. Yeah, he's going to come back under now. DeCran, he collects. White zips one. DeCran versus Gasperini. Toby goes up. What a take. I thought he was up early. Unbelievable. Finishes to Slusta, who stays in front of Eklund. Toby DeCran jumped off of the planet there.
What a crap from Toby DeCran.
He went up so early, and he did get it on the way down, but because he went up so early, they just didn't even bother. One couldn't get footing to get around and go on the up end. Let's just watch this again. There we have Gasperini, DeCran, and he goes up so early. No, I wasn't, just barely on the way down, just took it high. And he's one of the best and most potent receivers, certainly in Europe, maybe the best. He's putting himself on the map with every new catch he makes over in the UFA and right here in Amsterdam in his TOKAY SuperTeam jersey.
Did look like he put his hand on Gasperini's shoulder when he was climbing the golden ladder, but that was an excellent display of athleticism. Gasperini didn't seem to have a problem with it. Maybe just stabilized himself a bit. But another squandered opportunity from Italy. They had it on the goal line. We'll see how they can respond to that. Maybe they can rake one or two breaks back, tie it up. Obviously, it's going to come from a hold while Laffy calls for the brick.
10-7, 50 minutes and change into this match. Laffy goes back to Bengi and then Girotto. Girotto finds center, gets Lagalla. Lagalla goes to Fantini. Fantini goes to Laffy. Laffy with the windup. Now he puts it high. Barzazzi comes under. He loses his footing. Gets back up. Quick to Laffy. Laffy, the low look, gives it right back to Girotto. Nice switch on the defense. Tognetti stays put. That one comes under. Now Barzazzi looking at the end zone. Goes all the way around. Laffy is there. Is it going to stay in? It is. Laffy puts the toe down and puts the goal in. 8-10. TOKAY SuperTeam still in the lead.
Risky shot from Barzazzi across the field. But wow, what a pickup. Laffy has played for Italy for a very long time, and you can definitely see his experience and his athleticism. Normally starting as a handler, you can see that he not only has to play the line and the defense, but he also has to catch up to that shot just to get there in general. Good closing speed.
10-8 this score line. There you have a look at Valeria Cardenas. We're just saving her for the big games. Did that sound like an evil laugh? If it did, it was well received.
I thought SuperTeam was supposed to be the superheroes.
Oh, we play both sides of the coin. We can be villainous from time to time. And deep backhand from Venturoli. Cupcake makes the catch. Baudry has to give a little bit more space to give an opening. Inside throw down to one knee. Baudry goes to White. White inside, Molnar a bit on the hip. Right back to Cupcake. Chulet. Chulet gives a shimmy, goes high over top, and Molnar does get the read on the second asking, and the bid in front of Mikkel. Mastroianni gets there and takes it away.
Mastro just anticipating the cut and using his closing speed to get under Nickel. I felt like that was coming though. The Italians really ratcheted up their defensive pressure on that point.
Mastro. Charging defense, but Rossi makes the play. Mastro. Leads. Baudry had a sniff, but it wasn't available. Now back to Rossi. Rossi goes to Venturoli. Pick called.
And a violation. Not sure what the discussion is about. It's about positioning.
Yeah, Molnar and Rossi were not exactly lined up the way Rossi wanted it, and now they're back in play. He got the separation he wanted. Venturoli. He turns back inside. Mastroianni gets it going down. Travel called. White on Venturoli.
Probably justified. I think that he...
Big direction change on that pivot.
Yeah. Joe White knows a travel when he sees one.
Joe doesn't call a lot of fouls or violations full stop. So when he does, I agree that they are usually justified. Mastroianni. And he calls the timeout. And the Italians thought about it last time and didn't work for him. Let's see if the second asking will do one better. We're going to take a short break too, and we'll be right back after these words.
gotta brag on myself.
Go Super Team. I'm here flexing for you guys.
Ten, 8, and Super Team have got their backs up against the wall this time. The Italians with a chance to break. Mastroianni's taking the timeout.
I'm assuming this is the closest game that they've played all day, correct?
Almost certainly.
Almost certainly. Were you not here?
No, most certainly, not almost. Most certainly. Mastro goes to Rossi. Rossi looks for the low inside. Then the up line, and he does find it. Back to the big around, Giovannini. And we've got another pick in our stack.
Giovannini with no reset. Looks like Rossi is isolated at the front though.
Giovannini to Rossi. Rossi goes around.
Clutter in the stack. Italy's gonna have to solve this problem if they want to find some flow.
Ruffilli goes back to Mastroianni. Mastro to Venturoli. Venturoli goes middle to Cantu. Cantu working the backhand fakes. Then goes up, hangs one, Venturoli, but Mikkel gives it a slap away, and the throw was just not on.
Burn and turn, baby.
Burn one and turn one. Can Super Team make him pay this time? Mikkel wound up. I thought it was going to go. Molnar. And he goes central to Chulit, the man known as Cupcake. Mikkel blasts one. Baudry versus Giovannini. Heading towards the corner. Baudry reads that one like an absolute beaut and roofs everyone in company. And the call is out, is what they're saying.
Perhaps a stall out?
Oh, a stall out on...
No, it must have been out.
No, out of bounds. Here's another look. Oh, I thought the left foot was down first. It's a matter of the jumping foot. Maybe that's what they were talking about.
I agree. I think that the left foot did look like it was down first, but I do think that it also looked like she was jumping off the line.
Yeah, the jumping toe may have grazed, and if that's what they're talking about, then I can get behind that call. And another turn. Back to Italy. Low throw. Bailed out by Ruffilli. And Molnar was coming there. Oh, Molnar! Snake in the grass jumps in front. He spins around. Cupcake is there. And Chulit cashes in. Philip Molnar out of nowhere, the same way he did in Delft a couple weeks ago.
And he is just so good at finding those poached Ds. He is very sneaky.
Sneaky man. I told Philip Molnar that his best job for him to do this weekend is to be a defensive handler pest. And to just be all over and in the way and get in to muck everything up. And I think that is precisely what he teaches there. Not playing on the D-line anymore. He is, but making defensive plays to get it back and cash in the hold.
That disc almost had a full rotation on it when he threw it to Cupcake for the assist.
11-8, a hard-fought point, that one.
So Italy once again not able to cash in on their break opportunities. fact that they know that it's a bit late in the game. There's still 15 minutes, it looks like, left in this round.
Fantini goes to Girotto, middle of the field. Backfield, Laffy. Laffy inside, finds Lagalla. Nice strike to take a big chunk of meters. Now Lagalla and Tam almost there. Girotto throws wide. Bengi bangs one, and Laffy is there, and that is going to work for a goal for the Italians. Make it 9-11. Emergency, 9-1-1.
Laffy finding some space. He was getting bullied behind. We can see the dish backwards to Girotto. Girotto finds some space on the wide side to Bengi. Bengi, of course, always willing to open up the arm. But so far it looks like SuperTeam's strategy vis-a-vis Laffy has been to try and push him to be a cutter.
Yeah, get him out of the throwing space.
I agree with the strategy. I agree with the strategy in general, but he has leaked deep a couple of times because of this. Tognetti obviously experienced and understands how to do that. It's a risk. It's a risk that they're going to have to take. Davide rallying the troops, trying to call a super D-line for Italy.
Davide calling the gender ratio.
This is great gamesmanship from him, extending this point into an almost timeout.
So, because he disagrees with the gender ratio? Is he maybe he's very right. He's got that clipboard.
Clipboard always looks valid when you're trying to make a point.
Yeah, it's a point maker's dream. So, FMP, female matching point. Female matching player point.
FMPP.
Let's keep the PPs out of this. I already got one in my surname. Casarini winds up the pull and sends Chulit to receive, and then to Molnar. Molnar goes to Volchak. Molnar to Schall. Schall didn't want the Kran right away and then looks to him. Puts a vertical around and then goes deep, but everybody went deep. Molnar as well. Slusta goes to Schall. Schall leads a beautiful stutter step retreat cut from Chulit, and then he goes up the line to Baudry. Baudry gets Volchak. Volchak zaps it, and Scazziani gets a touch. She was looking for Slusta.
Good defense from Italy. It looked like at that point Italy was really forcing them out. I was surprised that there were not a couple of shots that could have gone up. Maybe SuperTeam trying to play conservative, just walk this one in. Previous points we've seen the Italians forcing them under and trying to get those Ds on the pursuit, on the in cut. And the exact opposite, but still getting a D.
Italy, Cantu. Gasperini to Bunu, and it's off the chest into the turf. Schall and Chulit go quick, and then puts a big arcing forehand to the back of the end zone. Baudry there, another one for her. Big game, 12-9. The Tokai SuperTeam stretching ahead now.
Really looking solid on defense, but struggling on offense. Bunu just straight through her arms. Gasperini's throw was coming in hot, but at this level, it's really the sort of thing that you need to catch. The defense is always going to be on your hip. It's going to be difficult. We can still got 10 more minutes. Italy can still make this close.
9, the current score. Have a look at our comparison cam here.
Fire Lord Ozai and Merusi.
What do you think back home? Did the camera crew get that one right or what? Let us know in the chats.
Little trivia for you, Steph.
Yeah, hit me because
Fire Lord Ozai was voiced by what famous actor?
Oh God, I have no answers. I can come up with a famous actor, but not quite yet. Turnover there. The Italians have given it back so generously to SuperTeam. Becker Chagnon inside. Rogers. Rogers, the sole lefty on the team. Becker floats over the top. Rogers again. Decran and Kawabato try and fill the same space, and they've bounced off one another. Kawabata sees Zoo, and Zoo's right in front of linebacker. Bid on the hip, but not gonna get there. Another goal. TOKAY, SuperTeam. Pound one onto the scoreboard.
Big point for Alec Beckel, a Fire Lord himself. Drop it in the chat if you know the answer to my trivia question. Which famous actor voiced Fire Lord Ozai in Avatar: The Last Airbender?
Famous actor. Let's go with Charlie Sheen.
Not even close.
I didn't think so.
It's from a well-beloved franchise, probably unexpected. Take a look at got in the chat.
The guy who plays Hagrid.
Got no answers in the chat, so I'm just going to spoil it all for you. It was Mark Hamill.
Hamill, Skywalker. And surely many other movies. So, 13-9, a stronger second half for the TOKAY SuperTeam. Davide Mori's young son, Samuele's college fund will be reduced by the amount that he'll have to transfer over to me at the end of this one.
What a generous man. SuperTeam within 2 points. They can close this out.
Lander sends deep to Bengi. Collects to Fantini and then Girotto. Girotto sees Rossi. No, it just gets over Tognetti's hand. Lead to Bengi. Bengi slows down. Pick holds in the middle of it all.
Looks like Barzasi wanted to have a big cut there, but that is why Tam called the pick.
Girotto, Scazzieri. Tam doing an excellent job on Barzasi. I've got one eye on that as I follow the disc here. Girotto to Bengi. Bengi to Girotto, catches it with the right, distributes with the left. Barzasi. Barzasi has Fantini, pop pass, forward, breaks the mark, inside to Scazzieri, and she finds Lagalla. For the goal, the Italians put double digits on to TOKAY SuperTeam.
First double digit of the day?
Indeed it is.
Pure Trash doing their best to do so, unable to complete those double digits.
Yeah, help. We're not able to get there. Australia mixed, we're not able to get there. Italy, by far, 4 games in, a very, very, very strong competition. This is a tough team, a well-drilled team, a deep top-to-bottom team, and a team led by ravenous passion in Davide Mori.
Looks like a good D-line from Italy. This has been pretty much the standard squad that they've done. They've been getting the blocks. Of course, their throwing and catching has not been as stellar as their defensive play. Giovannini with the pull. Sorry, that's not Giovannini.
Sends to White. White winds up, Baudry comes under, now to Decran. Decran. White cuts all over for him, but a little hammer in the dump space is the result in the end. Eklund gets out, Slusta fills. Slusta looks off to Kran with the charging mark from Mastroianni, and then Slusta comes back to the disc before distributing to White. White leads over top, beautiful throw by Joe White. What vision, what mechanics.
Steph, I'm pretty sure you taught him how to do that one. But that is a great throw from Joe White. Taking advantage of the matchup on the smaller Giovannini, Baudry is able to just walk that one into the end zone. Super Team 1 point away. See if they can widen the gap. Just get another win on the board and go to that sweet, sweet, frosty sports beverage tent right here at Windmill.
Big top named is Iggy. There's some of the French national team, Ulysse Rouillard amongst them, coming over to check out his teammate from WCC. He played that season with Joe White. And the deep throw goes Girotto to Laffy. Laffy, wind up, Lander stayed in the space, then goes to Barsazzi. Girotto, boys in the backfield. Lander getting the foot up for everything. Scazzieri, Barsazzi, Scazzieri. Back to Laffy. Laffy to the side, has Bengi. Bengi winds up. Inside, finds Scazzieri again, now leads Laffy. Inside the middle, Barsazzi there, the mid on the hip, nothing coming easy, but the Italians do manage another hold, 11-14.
Good offensive pacing from the Italians. They did a good job of sort of moving the frequency sort of in and out, by which I mean sometimes they would work on those short passes and it was just a give and go. Other times they held it, looked for a couple seconds. We see the turn from Laffy, turns and fires to Barzassi, using that chemistry that they've built together on Fota over the past few years.
So, game point with a pole reception. As the Italians shorten their lines now, they know it's now or never, so they will put out their strongest defensive unit. That's good. Pancotti, Giovannini, Tremonte, Cantù, Rossi, Venturoli, and Gasperini.
Super Team looking strong. See if they can close it out, or if Italy can notch another break on them.
Charlotte Schall goes to Slusta. She wanted the quick movement, that's her style of game. Goes to Schall and then Tulit. Slusta. Oh, and she throws into trouble, Cantù. Venturoli. Gets the around. Casarini. Casarini does lead Gasparini. Then inside, Rossi. Tight mark. Finds Gasparini. He's got just enough space. Now Venturoli. Venturoli gets Rossi and not in called. And that one will be in by both of them. And another break, a late game break. Look out. Tokai Super Team, we gotta be able to close these out.
Venturoli flips it up to Rossi here. You see that Lander's saying it's not in, it's not in.
Davide Mori coming for clarification on the bet. Basically, the bet is head-to-head.
David said that the bet with the Rapaz, the super team,
yes.
Is the bet is if Italy finish in front of the super team or win against super team one time, I win 100 euro. Otherwise, I have to give 50 euro to Stefano Pazzo, but it's not still over.
Yeah, it's not over. I mean, nothing's over till the end of the tournament, but this game is still...
You deserve to win.
This game is over. It's timing. It's I deserve to win totally. Anticlimactic as the Italians score and Super Team wins this one. Davide knows the rules. He still wants clarification. Always here for a little bit of yap, but I'd already informed the viewers back home. Poor Samuele Mori will have a little bit less in his college fund, and I'm sorry to take that, but I just have to honor the handshake between men, between myself and Davide Mori. And I'm looking forward to how this one all pans out. It's been a wonderfully fun game.
Yep. So as we saw on the final turn, we had Tlusa holding the disc for a long time. She shorted the flick. I think that broke my rule where she's not allowed to hold it for more than 3 seconds. Forces the turn. Italy, the small comeback. Of course, here at Windmill, we have these shortened games with the time cap. Hard cap means that you play the last point, and that is that, which means that we have Italy still coming out on the bottom despite scoring the last point. Tokai Super Team will undoubtedly still be at the top of the rankings, though, as we have some discussion from around the event. Here I have Steph Rapazzo, who I am going to pass the mic off to some of these Super Team mates.
So we've got Rina Kawabata and Joe White after their match against Italy. Your tightest game of the day. How did that one feel?
It felt good. The second half, we really stepped up our D, which was really awesome. I think we were really feeling the end of the day round. But yeah, super proud of how we all came together for that last half.
Let's talk a bit more about how this team has come together. A team of multiple origins, very random. How do you feel after 4 games, a whole day at Windmill? How has this team come together?
Honestly, it's just been so fun. It's been such a blast, and I feel like we're all really present with each other. We're all just in so much joy. You know, having this chance to play together. This is like a once in a lifetime team to play for. So it's just been like an awesome experience.
Amazing. I'm gonna have you pass the headset over to.
Perfect. Thanks, Steph.
Yeah, we'll bring Joe over here so we're not crossing cables.
Yeah.
Joe, how you doing?
I'm great. How about you?
Yeah, good.
Tired. Long day.
You working hard or something?
Half the time. No points.
Half the
no
time
points.
Joe's working hard.
Yeah.
Talk about the opposition there. Talk about Italy. They were probably the team that was first pushed the Tokai Super Team, but talk a bit about how they played.
I mean, they're just way more physical and athletic and played team defense in a way we weren't used to yet. So it took us a bit to just get used to it on offense, but it was cool to see us kind of find the stride at 5-5, 6-6, and then the second half it felt like the O really had some rhythm. But super fun team to play. I hope we play them again. I've played against all those guys before. I never played against the girls, but awesome.
Nice. And what else are you excited for from here to the end of Windmill, Joe? What else?
I'm excited for tonight. I'm excited for tomorrow night. I'm of course excited for the games too. Yeah, it'll be fun. I hope we get to play France Mixed. Know a bunch of guys. Played with a bunch of guys on that team. And then however the bracket shakes out, it'll be fun.
Let's see how it goes. Thanks very much, Joe and Rina. Congratulations on your win. Send a wave and some love back to the people at home, and then get back out there with your team. Thanks, guys. And so there you have it, TOKAY Super Team.
Yay! Nice D, team! Shit. That was fucking crazy.
Yeah, he floated. I thought he jumped too early. I was like, no.
That's what I thought. That's what I thought.
Wow.
Angela's is still, she's not in it. That's why.
Angela's like, my coaching brain is telling me that's fucked up.
Shut up.
Oh, I love hearing the inside stuff there. Lev Kovalchuk mic'd up that time. It's been a wonderful day here from the SuperStream, live and free on Ulti TV from Windmill 2024. Thank you for joining us. We're going to leave you with these highlights to take you home. For Francis Dieterle, I've been Stefan Rapazzo. Thank you so much for joining us. We will catch you next time.
See you tomorrow.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah, ultimate.
Ulti.tv.
Thank you.